Former England international Anthony Watson has delivered a detailed and balanced assessment of Henry Arundell's costly red card during England's Calcutta Cup defeat to Scotland, offering insight into both the technical and psychological factors that contributed to the winger's dismissal at Murrayfield. England's 31-20 loss to Scotland in round 2 of the Six Nations was a bruising setback for Steve Borthwick's side, and Arundell's indiscipline played a significant role in shaping the contest. While the final scoreline suggested a relatively competitive encounter, the reality on the pitch was more one-sided, with Scotland in control for long periods and England struggling to cope after being reduced to 14 men. That Arundell's afternoon unraveled in two decisive moments. First at the breakdown, and later in an aerial collision that ultimately ended his involvement in the match before halftime. A difficult opening, the first flashpoint came as early as the 8th minute. Scotland had broken through England's defensive line, and after bringing down flanker Rory Darge, Arundell attempted to jackal for the ball at the breakdown. The referee deemed his actions cynical, suggesting he had slowed possession illegally in a promising attacking situation for Scotland. He was shown a yellow card and sent to the sin bin. The decision sparked debate. Some observers felt the punishment was harsh, arguing that the ball had spilled loose and that Arundell's attempt to compete was legitimate. Others maintained that in modern rugby, referees are quick to clamp down on breakdown infringements that prevent quick ball in dangerous areas. Watson, who was present at Murrayfield and witnessed the incident live, admitted that the first yellow could be questioned. The first yellow was a bit harsh, he explained. Yes, it was a line break from Scotland, and he was coming around, but the ball has just squirted out. I'm not sure it was a straight-up yellow card, but ultimately these refs have to make decisions in very quick and high-pressure scenarios. Despite the controversy, Arundell served his 10 minutes and returned to the field, determined to make amends. That a brief redemption back on the pitch. Arundell reminded everyone of his attacking prowess. Having already scored a hat-trick in round 1 against Wales, he crossed for his 4th try of the championship against Scotland, showcasing the finishing ability that has made him one of England's most exciting young backs at that stage. England were still in the contest. However, just as they looked to stabilize, disaster struck again. The second yellow and upgrade in the 37th minute. Arundell chased a box kick from scrum half Alex Mitchell. As the ball descended, he leapt to contest possession with Scotland winger Kyle Steyn. The collision was awkward and dangerous looking. Steyn was in a vulnerable position in the air, and Arundell's challenge lacked the necessary spatial awareness to avoid contact. The referee issued a second yellow card, which, under current laws, resulted in a 20-minute red card after review by the foul play officer. England were reduced to 14 men for the remainder of the first half and part of the second, severely compromising their chances. Watson was unequivocal in his verdict on the second offense. The second one, and probably the most obvious one, it's 100% a yellow card in terms of the decision-making process that goes behind that. He said, for Watson, there was little ambiguity. While Arundell's intentions were positive, competing hard in the air, the execution fell short of the required standard. The importance of awareness. Watson's analysis centered on one key concept: awareness. You can't have no awareness of where the opposition player is, he explained. You've almost got to get to where you think the ball is going to land, be 3, 4, or 5 meters out from it, and know you're going to take off from that point and get up in the air. The modern aerial contest is one of rugby's most dangerous and technically demanding areas. Players must judge the flight of the ball, anticipate the opponent's positioning, and time their leap perfectly, all within seconds. Watson stressed that players should identify the likely landing zone of the ball before committing to a jump. You almost want to create a landing zone in your mind of where the ball is going to be and know how far away from that landing zone you have to jump to compete, he said. But you don't go and stand in the landing zone. That's the red zone. In Arundell's case, Watson suggested the winger had lost track of Steyn's positioning, placing himself directly beneath or too close to his opponent. If you've lost all awareness of where the opposition players are and where the ball is going to land, you put yourself in a scenario like that. A changing skill set. Watson also highlighted how the aerial contest has evolved over the past decade. 5 or 10 years ago, all you would do at the end of training is catch box kicks on the receiving end, he said. Very rarely did we practice chasing kicks and getting up in the air and competing. Now, however, the skill is fundamental. Wingers are expected not only to field kicks, but also to contest them aggressively, disrupting opposition possession. It's an undeniably fundamental piece of the game, Watson continued. But it's a different skill, and you have to work on that week in, week out to be comfortable knowing where you want to take off from, which leg you're taking off from, what your knee is doing, how high your hand is. These details, seemingly minor, can determine whether a contest is safe and legal or reckless and punishable. That experience matters. Arundell was playing just his 13th test. Watson, by contrast, earned 56 England caps and toured twice with the British and Irish Lions. That experience, he suggested, sharpens decision-making. I would definitely put some of that to his decision-making, Watson said. Not finding himself in that position as much as a winger with 40 caps might do. Young players often play on instinct and enthusiasm. While those qualities can be strengths, they can also lead to overcommitment. Arundell's intent was admirable. He was chasing hard, eager to compete. But in Watson's view, better anticipation and positioning would have prevented the incident entirely. The wider consequences. England traveled to Murrayfield seeking a statement victory. 8 of their previous 12 wins had come at home, and this was an opportunity to prove their credentials on hostile territory. Instead, they were overwhelmed. Playing with 14 men for a significant period exposed defensive gaps and drained energy levels. Scotland capitalized, building a commanding lead. Although England scored a late consolation try, the 31-20 scoreline arguably flattered them. Without Arundell's dismissal, the dynamic of the match might have been different. But discipline at test level is non-negotiable. The winger is now set to attend a disciplinary hearing, with a potential ban looming. Such a sanction would rule him out of England's round 3 clash against Ireland, a fixture that carries enormous significance in the championship race. Learning the hard way, Watson concluded his analysis on a constructive note. He'll be better for it, he said. I know it's a cliche that you learn from all experiences, but he will be 100% better for that. Mistakes at test level are magnified, yet they can also accelerate growth. Hopefully he doesn't get a previous yellow next time, Watson added. But even still, you just can't catch yourself underneath someone. The key takeaway is refinement, not retreat. Arundell remains one of England's brightest attacking prospects. His pace, footwork, and finishing instincts are undeniable. The challenge now is to match that attacking flair with composure and precision in high-pressure moments, a turning point. For England, the Murrayfield defeat exposed vulnerabilities, not only tactical but disciplinary. Against elite opposition, lapses are punished ruthlessly. For Arundell, it was a harsh lesson delivered on one of rugby's biggest stages. Yet, as Watson implied, such experiences can forge resilience. The aerial contest, once a secondary skill, has become a battleground requiring meticulous preparation. Awareness, positioning, and timing are as critical as courage. If Arundell absorbs those lessons, the setback at Murrayfield may ultimately serve as a turning point in his development rather than a defining misstep. England's campaign continues, and scrutiny will remain intense. But in the unforgiving arena of Test rugby, growth often follows adversity.